In the dead of night, 7 ghost black stealth bombers took off from the American heartland. By morning, Iran's most heavily fortified military secrets were buried under a mountain of rubble. This is not a movie. This happened. For over 2 decades, Iran had been playing the most dangerous game on Earth. They lied to UN inspectors. They buried their nuclear facilities hundreds of feet underground inside mountains. They enriched uranium in secret. They built tunnels. They poured concrete. They told the world, "You can't touch us. You'll never reach us." And for a long time, they were right. The crown jewel of Iran's nuclear ambitions was a place called Fordow. Dug into the belly of a mountain, Fordow sat nearly 80 to 90 meters underground. It was built to survive any known conventional bomb on the planet. Iran knew exactly what they were doing. They had studied the US military. They calculated and concluded, we are untouchable. But here's the thing about the United States military. For every wall Iran built, America was quietly engineering the key that would tear it down. Deep inside a classified program, 2 unnamed officers had been obsessing over Fordow for 15 years. They studied every vent shaft, every exhaust pipe, every electrical conduit. According to General Dan Kane, these officers literally dreamed about this target as they slept. The weapon they helped design, the GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator, it had never once been fired in actual combat. It was the most powerful conventional bomb ever built. A 30,000-pound monster of steel, explosives, and precision engineering, made for exactly one purpose. The question was never if it would be used. It was always when. By early 2026, that window was closing fast. Satellite images showed something alarming. Iran wasn't surrendering. Iran was rebuilding. They designed them to defeat the same bunker-buster bombs that had hit them before. The IAEA confirmed Iran stockpiled enough enriched uranium to build 9 nuclear bombs. To carrier strike groups were quietly converging on the Persian Gulf. Diplomatic talks in Muscat and Geneva collapsed. Senior White House advisors placed the probability of military action at 90%. The window had expired. Shortly after midnight on June 21, 2025, something extraordinary lifted off. 7 BT Spirit stealth bombers climbed into the night sky. Not one radar picked them up. Not a single flight tracker logged their transponders. They simply vanished into the darkness. Each BT carries a radar cross-section the size of a golf ball, invisible to even Russia's most advanced air defense systems. Each of them was carrying America's most classified weapon, the GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator. 2 per aircraft, because no other plane on Earth can carry even one. Weapon specs, GBU-57 MOP, weight, 30,000 pounds, length, 20.5 feet, penetration depth, 200 feet of reinforced concrete, speed on impact, 1,000 plus feet per second. Delivery platform, BT Spirit, the only aircraft capable. Prior combat use, none. Meanwhile, beneath the surface of the Arabian Sea, a single Ohio-class guided missile submarine. It was silently locking onto targets 1,500 miles away, carrying over 12 Tomahawk cruise missiles, each pre-programmed to hit specific buildings at Iran's Isfahan nuclear complex. And on top of all that, 125 American aircraft, fighters, bombers, electronic warfare jets, and dozens of aerial refueling tankers were already in the air or on standby. This was not a strike. This was a synchronized military orchestra with one conductor, the President of the United States. At 10 a.m. Iranian time, the silence over Fordow was broken forever. 6 BT bombers flew over the facility, invisible, silent, lethal. The lead aircraft released the first 2 MOPs down Fordow's primary ventilation shaft. The bombs hit the concrete cap at over 1,000 feet per second. It didn't just crack, it disappeared. The cap was forcibly removed by the first weapon, and the main shaft was uncovered. Weapons 2, 3, 4, 5 were tasked to enter the main shaft, move down into the complex at greater than 1,000 feet per second. Think about what that means. A bomb the size of a school bus, traveling faster than a NASCAR car, diving into a tunnel deep inside a mountain, then detonating in the heart of Iran's most protected facility. For time's over. Then the 7th BT peeled off toward Natanz, Iran's other primary enrichment site, 2 more MOPs. Same result. The mountain shook. The centrifuges went silent. The lights went out. Not a single Iranian missile was fired in response. No surface-to-air missiles. No fighters. Scrambled. No radar lock. Iran's air defenses had nothing left to shoot with. The most fortified nuclear program on Earth couldn't fire a single round. Because Tomahawk missiles travel slower than aircraft, they were launched from the submarine first. Time to arrive after the BT South had already completed their runs. A perfectly choreographed Sequence. As dawn approached over Isfahan, over a dozen cruise missiles slammed into the surface infrastructure of Iran's third major NUCLEAR complex. Buildings that house centrifuge manufacturing, uranium conversion equipment, and research labs were obliterated in minutes. Total time over Iranian airspace for the greatest bombing run in Beta history, just over 2 hours. By first light, the Beta South were already heading home, back to Whiteman Air Force Base. Not a single American aircraft was lost. Not a single American pilot was hurt. Iran never even knew what was coming. The morning after the strikes, President Trump delivered a statement that will be studied in military history textbooks for generations. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth followed with a line that nobody on Earth could argue with. No other country on planet Earth could have conducted the operation. No other country has Beta bombers. No other country has the GBU-57. No other country had been studying that mountain for 15 years. This was a capability decades in the making, deployed in a single night. Satellite imagery released in the days after the strike told the full story. Fordow, the mountain fortress Iran spent billions building, showed massive craters. Natanz was devastated. Isfahan's surface structures were gone. The IAEA went silent. Iran's Revolutionary Guard went into crisis mode. The nuclear program that had defined Iran's strategic identity was gone. But here's where it gets complicated. Because buried uranium doesn't just disappear. Western intelligence agencies were desperately trying to locate Iran's existing stockpile. Enough for 9 bombs. Where was it? Had it been moved before the strikes? Was it still underground, entombed in rubble? Nobody knew. And that unknown was one of the most terrifying loose ends of the entire operation. Here's what the Pentagon knew but didn't want to say out loud. The June 2025 strikes had bought America approximately 2 years. That was the official assessment. 2 years before Iran could potentially reconstitute its capabilities. By February 2026, that estimate was already being revised downward. New satellite imagery showed Iranian engineers moving with alarming speed, sealing damaged tunnels with fresh concrete, marrying new construction under soil, rebuilding missile bases deeper underground, at a site called Taligan to inside the Parchin military complex. Engineers had encased the entire structure in concrete and buried it under meters of earth. A new fortress, built specifically to defeat the same bombs that hit them. On February 28, 2026, the United States and Israel launched the most significant American military operation in the Middle East since 2003. Operation Roar of the Lion. Strikes across the full geographic depth of Iran. Targets struck: Isfahan, nuclear facility, missile infrastructure; Parchin, Taligan 2, nuclear weapons research site; 3 MOP direct hits, nuclear-related facilities; Jam Missile City, ballistic missile production complex; Kharg Island, Iran's primary oil export terminal; IRGC Amid Base, Revolutionary Guard support infrastructure. The Beta South came again. The Tomahawks flew again. And Taligan 2, the hardened, buried, concrete-encased facility, took 3 direct MOP hits straight through the top. CENTCOM confirmed plainly last night. US Beta stealth bombers struck Iran's hardened ballistic missile facilities. No nation should ever doubt America's resolve. So let's talk about what this actually means strategically. Because the bombs are only half the story. For 30 years, Iran's entire foreign policy was backed by one thing: military deterrence. The threat of ballistic missiles raining down on Tel Aviv or Riyadh or the Fifth Fleet. You touch us, and we'll make the whole region burn. That threat is now gone. Not weakened. Gone. Iran's proxy network, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, Iraqi militias, now knows their patron can no longer back them up. The entire strategic architecture of Iranian regional power has collapsed. And inside Iran, the regime is in freefall. An economy crushed by sanctions. A population that took to the streets after Mahsa Amini. A leadership that promised nuclear status and regional dominance, and instead delivered bombed mountains and burning oil terminals. But here's the uncomfortable truth: a cornered regime is a dangerous regime. Iran still has proxies. It still has sleeper cells. It still has the ability to mine the Strait of Hormuz, through which 20% of the world's oil supply flows every single day. And that stockpile of enriched uranium? Still unaccounted for. The United States military just executed the most technically complex, precisely engineered, historically significant conventional bombing campaign of the 21st century. A plan 15 years in the making, delivered in a single night, with 0 American casualties. And yet, the war isn't over. Iran is rebuilding again. The uranium is still somewhere. The regime is battered but not broken. And in the shadows, the proxies are waiting. America didn't just drop bombs on Iran. It dropped a message to every nation on Earth. No tunnel is deep enough. No mountain is hard enough. No fortress is safe enough. When America decides to act, you will not see us coming. The question now isn't whether America can destroy Iran's nuclear program. The question is, can they destroy it faster than Iran can rebuild it? And what happens when Iran, with nothing left to lose, decides to stop hiding and finally strike back? That's the situation on the ground right now, and the clock is ticking. What do you think happens next? Does Iran retaliate? Does the regime collapse from within? Or does this spark something far bigger? Drop your prediction in the comments below. And if you think people need to see this, share it right now. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because on this channel, we don't wait for the news to catch up. We're already there.